On a noisy morning in the flooded lowlands of the Pantanal, each step of this powerful predator moves with quiet intent. The jaguar sinks into the murky water, guided by its remarkable swimming skills. It always chooses the perfect moment for every strike. With astonishing diving ability, the jaguar remains unfazed, even when facing the reigning force of the swamp. A precise bite targets the soft patch of skin beneath the cayman's neck. A bite force nearing 14,000 newtons locks the prey in place, giving it no chance to dive again. Its solid build and agile muscles do it all, clamping down, holding tight, then swimming back to shore to find a secluded spot to enjoy the final reward. As the dense canopy of the Amazon closes in on the last rays of sunlight, the ruler of the shadows quietly emerges. The jaguar is the largest wild cat in the Americas and ranks third in size among the world's big cats. In the early 20th century, their range stretched widely across the continent, from the southern United States all the way down to southern Argentina. The evolutionary journey of the jaguar did not begin in the Americas. On the contrary, that story was woven across distant continents, where Africa and Asia once served as the biological cradle of the very first big cats. More than 2 million years ago, the ancestors of this species appeared in Europe under the name Panthera gombasugensis, an ancient feline that shared many traits with today's jaguar, especially in the structure of its skull and canine teeth. From the forests and plains of the Eurasian continent, some Panthera populations gradually migrated northeast. From the forests and plains of the Eurasian continent, some Panthera populations gradually migrated northeast. As the climate shifted and the ice began to retreat, a natural land bridge, the Bering Land Bridge, connected Siberia to Alaska, opening a new gateway. It was through this icy corridor that the ancestors of the jaguar first set foot in the Americas around 850,000 to 820,000 years ago. Their oldest known fossil was discovered in Hamilton Cave in the state of West Virginia, United States, marking the moment this big cat began to establish itself across native ecosystems. In this new continent, the jaguar was not alone. During the same Pleistocene epoch, it shared the ecosystem with a legendary giant feline, Smilodon fatalis, better known as the saber-toothed cat. With its signature long canines and heavy-set frame, Smilodon was a symbol of predation across the ancient plains of the Americas. However, the two represented very different survival strategies, two distinct schools of hunting that coexisted within the same ecological landscape. Smilodon tended to target large herd-dwelling prey such as bison latifrons, camelops, or ground sloths. With its massive build, short limbs, and immense strength, it often relied on close-range ambushes in open landscapes or sparse woodlands. In contrast, the jaguar was more compact, more agile, and built for hunting in dense forests, where sunlight was filtered through thick canopies. With strong swimming ability and an almost silent ambush technique, the jaguar carved out its own ecological niche, focusing on medium-sized prey and semi-aquatic reptiles. The jaguar's body structure allows it to deliver an exceptionally strong bite, powerful enough to pierce through a turtle's shell or the skull of a small crocodilian. Smilodon, on the other hand, had a weaker bite, but it made up for that with its long, saber-like canines, which it used to finish off prey after overpowering it with sheer muscular force. Interestingly, although Smilodon was larger and more powerful, it vanished during the mass extinction event at the end of the Pleistocene around 10,000 years ago, along with many other large animals. The jaguar, with its high adaptability, flexible diet, and access to more diverse habitats, managed to survive and continued expanding southward. From the southern United States to the dense jungles of Central America, from the flooded plains of the Pantanal to the rainforests of the Amazon, it became the only surviving panthera species in the Americas. The name jaguar is believed to come from the Tupi-Guarani word jaguar, meaning wild beast that overcomes its prey at a bound. In Guyana, where the species appears on the national coat of arms and is regarded as the national animal, it is known as jaguarete, a form with an added suffix that conveys the meaning true beast. At first glance, it can be difficult to tell the jaguar apart from the leopard, a distant relative found in Africa and Asia. Genetically, both species belong to the genus Panthera, the group of big cats that includes the lion, tiger, snow leopard, and jaguar. After splitting off around 2 million years ago, the jaguar rose to dominance in the jungles of the Americas, armed with a heavily muscled body, stout limbs that look carved from stone, and a large, square-shaped head. It doesn't shy away from direct confrontation with large prey, thanks to its bone-crushing bite, the strongest among all living big cats relative to body size. In contrast, the leopard is more compact and excels at climbing. It prefers to approach quietly and strike by surprise, then drag its catch high into the treetops to keep it safe from would-be thieves. If you take a closer look at their golden brown coats covered in rosettes, the differences become even more noticeable. The jaguar has larger, bolder, and fewer rosettes, each with distinct black spots in the center, like dark constellations scattered across a tropical sky. Meanwhile, the leopard's rosettes are smaller, more densely packed, and lack the central spot. When it comes to habitat, the jaguar prefers dense forests, swamps, and river systems, places where its swimming skills and ambush tactics give it a clear edge. The leopard, on the other hand, is far more adaptable, thriving in a wide range of environments, from the African savanna and rainforests to rocky mountains, and even the snowy heights of the Himalayas in Asia. Two big cats, two ways of life. Each footprint they leave on the earth tells a story of millions of years of evolution, adaptation, and survival, shaped by the ever-changing challenges nature sets before them. Beneath the dense canopy of the Amazon, where sunlight only just gilds the forest floor, a deep, raspy sound echoes through the trees. It's not the wind or the flow of water. It's the low, resonant roar of a jaguar. That sound is an unmistakable signal. A breeding season with no calendar has begun. For this species, love and instinct are not bound by time. They mate year-round, depending on environmental conditions and the physiological state of each individual. The most noticeable sign that a jaguar has entered estrus is a change in its vocalizations. Males often let out deep, prolonged roars that echo through the layers of the forest, part declaration of territory, part mysterious invitation to nearby females. That roar is like a drumbeat reverberating through the heart of the jungle. Females, while softer in tone, still carry a distinct voice. Gentle, sawing sounds or steady snorts, like distant whispers carried on the wind. Both use sound to navigate and choose mates, offering a remarkable biological glimpse into the complex communication of this solitary big cat. However, female jaguars are known for being selective. They don't choose mates at random. Only the strongest, largest males with the most powerful roars earn a chance to get close. This selective process boosts the survival and adaptability of their offspring, as the cubs inherit the most advantageous genetic traits. So males have to demonstrate why they're deserving. Once they've found each other, the mating ritual begins. There's nothing gentle or romantic about it. Everything unfolds with raw intensity, and at times, with quite a bit of noise. After mating, the female will carry her pregnancy for about 90 to 105 days. The development of the embryos happens quietly, and when it's time to give birth, she seeks out secluded spots, sheltered by dense vegetation or hidden deep within rocky crevices. A litter usually consists of 1 to 4 cubs, though 2 is the most common. These young ones will stay with their mother for about 18 to 24 months. During this time, the mother jaguar teaches them the essential survival skills they'll need to navigate and thrive in this fiercely competitive ecosystem. At birth, jaguar cubs are toothless, blind, and unable to walk on their own. Their eyes remain tightly shut and only begin to open after about 11 to 13 days, according to data from the Wildcat Conservation Alliance. Beneath their soft, velvet-like spotted fur, their tiny ears are not yet fully functional, but development happens quickly. By around day 18, their first wobbly steps begin to appear, marking a turning point in their journey to explore the world. By around 4 to 5 weeks of age, their baby teeth begin to emerge, preparing them for a gradual transition to eating meat. At this stage, their vision and hearing have developed significantly. The young jaguars start to venture out of the den in clumsy steps to explore their surroundings, but they always stay close to their mother, connected by an invisible thread between curiosity and the instinct to survive. They practice by chasing each other or pouncing on twigs, mimicking the hunting behaviors that will become essential in adulthood. Still, the natural world is never easy for a fragile young life. According to aggregated data from Science Direct in 2024, mortality rates for jaguar cubs in their first year can reach as high as 50%. The main threats come from predators such as South American anacondas, cougars, and the jaguar cayman, a common crocodilian in the swampy regions of the Amazon. Even though the mother jaguar is constantly alert and ready to defend her cubs, a single moment of distraction can lead to harsh consequences. Once the jaguar cubs are strong enough to leave the hollow beneath the fallen tree deep in the Amazon, a new chapter begins, not one of total dependence, but of learning how to survive. Over the next 2 years, the mother jaguar teaches her young essential life skills, step by step, one lesson at a time. The first lesson is always hunting, the core survival skill of a top predator. By the time the cubs are about 5 to 6 months old, they begin learning how to observe, trail, and ambush. Their first pounces often miss the mark, and their bites are still clumsy. But over time, they learn to target the throat or the skull, a distinctive technique unique to the jaguar. During that process, the young jaguars are also introduced to a variety of prey. They start with smaller creatures like fish, turtles, and jungle birds, then gradually move on to larger ones such as capybaras, peccaries, and even jaguar caymans. This exposure to diverse prey is the mother's way of preparing her cubs to face whatever situation the wild may present. No two hunts are ever the same, and flexible skill is the key to survival. Unlike most other big cats, the jaguar is an exceptional swimmer. Water lessons begin early. The cubs are taught how to swim across rivers, dive for fish, and chase after creatures beneath the surface. They learn how to balance, listen for movement below the waterline, and pinpoint the perfect moment to strike. In a world where forest and water are tightly intertwined, hunting in the water is a clear and powerful advantage. Beyond hunting, the cubs are taught other critical survival skills. They learn how to sense danger, not just from other predators like cougars, but also from the scent and signs of humans. Camouflage and stealth are sharpened through ambush practice and carefully avoiding threats. They're trained to use shadows, terrain, and vegetation to conceal their presence, as if becoming one with the forest itself. Beyond teaching skills, the mother jaguar also guides her cubs through their territory, helping them discover clean water sources, areas rich in prey, safe shelters, and even the places they must avoid. Each journey is a real-world lesson, a living map etched into memory through scent, sound, and movement. By around 2 years of age, the mother jaguar gradually steps back from her role as guide. It's not abandonment, but a natural transition. Now skilled and self-reliant, the young jaguar begins to leave its mother's territory in search of a land to call its own, a place it will mark with its own roar and scent. At around 20 months old, young jaguars begin to leave the place where they were born. This dispersal is not just a journey of independence. It's a stage where instinct guides them toward establishing their own territory. Males typically travel much farther than females, sometimes covering distances of up to 30 kilometers. In contrast, females may occasionally return to familiar territory. During this early nomadic phase, young male jaguars often face intense competition from more mature individuals. They live in the shadows, avoiding direct confrontations, yet constantly test their limits, gradually carving out territorial boundaries of their own. Notably, this entire process unfolds before they reach full sexual maturity, which typically occurs around 3 to 4 years of age. Though jaguars spend most of their lives alone, they are not always solitary. In rare instances, males have been observed forming temporary alliances, especially when their territories overlap or during generational transitions. These bonds aren't as socially complex as those seen in lions, but they do hint at an underlying social depth within the species. Another notable connection is the strong, enduring bond between mother and cub, a tie that remains firmly in place throughout the early years of life. While lions may rest up to 16 hours a day to conserve energy under the African sun, jaguars spend about 50 to 60% of their day actively on the move. This high level of activity isn't just a biological trait, it's a key factor in maintaining control over the territory they claim. In addition, jaguars can produce deep, repetitive roars that echo like coughing through the mountains and forest, a powerful tool for asserting dominance and deterring intruders. The jaguar's ecological role is perhaps one of the most quiet yet enduring contributions to the tropical forest ecosystems of the Americas. By effectively regulating populations of herbivores, they help maintain a balanced community structure and prevent overexploitation of plant resources. This not only slows down habitat degradation, but also plays a part in reducing the risk of disease transmission from wildlife to livestock and humans. The jaguar's ideal habitat includes dense tropical forests, rainforests, cloud forests, and wetlands, thick with vegetation, places where it can hide, stalk, and hunt with precision. They have been recorded at elevations as high as 3,800 meters, though they rarely settle in mountain forests, as such environments are less suited to their stealthy lifestyle. Historically, jaguars once roamed the southern United States, including the oak woodlands of Arizona, but today, only a few individuals have been documented in that region. In the wild, jaguars live between 12 and 15 years, but in captivity, their lifespan can extend beyond 23 years. They are among the longest living members of the Felidae family. However, longevity cannot replace the hunting instinct and unique ecological role that jaguars can fully express only in their natural, wild habitat. The jaguar moves with a graceful stride, muscles rippling beneath smooth, taut skin, a beauty that's both proud and powerful. Their body size varies noticeably by region, with a general trend of increasing size from North to South America. In places like Brazil's Pantanal or Paraguay's Gran Chaco, jaguars tend to grow significantly larger than those found near the United States border. The largest recorded adult male jaguar can weigh up to 155 kilograms, while the smallest females may weigh as little as 36 kilograms. Their body length, excluding the tail, ranges from 1.1 to 1.85 meters. Their tail is noticeably shorter than other big cats, measuring only 45 to 75 centimeters. Despite its short length, the tail plays a crucial role in helping the jaguar maintain balance, whether it's stalking prey across tree limbs or pursuing targets through flooded terrain. Biologically, the jaguar is a super predator, sitting at the top of the food chain in nearly every ecosystem it inhabits. A 2023 meta-study based on 53 scientific publications found that the species' diet includes a wide range of prey groups, with body weights ranging from 1 to 130 kilograms. However, jaguars tend to prefer prey in the 45 to 85 kilogram range, providing a rich nutritional payoff while still being efficient to hunt. Today, jaguars still inhabit regions stretching from Mexico through Central America, including Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, especially the Osa Peninsula, and Panama, down into South America in countries like Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina. Among these, Brazil's Pantanal is considered to have the highest jaguar density in the world, a place where these big cats can still roam freely, largely undisturbed by human presence. The Pantanal wetlands, the largest tropical wetland in the world, spanning over 140,000 square kilometers across Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay, have given rise to some of the largest jaguars ever recorded. According to Panthera's 2024 research, the average weight of adult jaguars in this region is around 110 kilograms. Dominant males can exceed 150 kilograms, nearly twice the average weight of jaguars found in Central America. This size difference is partly explained by the region's abundant food supply and the expansive territories available in its semi-flooded landscape. In terms of sexual characteristics, studies have also revealed a clear difference in body size between the sexes. On average, males are 10 to 20% larger than females, not only in weight, but also in body length and muscular strength. This size advantage allows them to control larger territories and enhances their ability to compete during the breeding season. Contrary to the common belief that jaguars are nocturnal, in regions like the Amazon rainforest and the Pantanal, they tend to be more active during the day, particularly in the early morning and late afternoon. A 2023 analysis by the Brazilian Institute for Biological Conservation, based on camera trap data from over 20 sites within the Amazonia legal region, revealed that more than 60% of jaguar hunting activity in the rainforest takes place between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. This pattern is believed to be a behavioral adaptation, optimizing hunting efficiency in the dim, filtered light beneath the dense forest canopy. Another standout hunting trait of jaguars in the Pantanal wetlands is their strong preference for large reptiles. Among their primary prey, the cayman and green anaconda are frequently targeted. According to statistics from the Jaguars of the Pantanal project in 2024, up to 55% of documented hunts in the region involved reptiles, with caymans making up the largest share. Footage of these encounters has repeatedly shown the jaguar's remarkable strength and precise body coordination, even in deep, muddy waters, highlighting its dominance as a predator in this challenging habitat. There was no sound to forewarn the moment when a striped shadow swiftly swept across the still waters of the Pantanal. The jaguar appeared like a sharp gust of wind, gliding silently over the water, ears perked high. Suddenly, water splashed in all directions as the jaguar lunged from the blind spot of a cayman. The struggle began. An adult cayman can weigh up to 60 kilograms, about half the size of the jaguar. Even as the cayman writhed and tried to drag the jaguar underwater, nothing could withstand the force of a bite reaching up to 13,790 newtons aimed at the skin beneath its neck. The jaguar's lower jaw is uniquely designed. It is reinforced to engage more muscle groups during chewing and biting, allowing not only for an exceptionally powerful bite, but also for sustained pressure over time. The jaguar holds firm until the large prey stops struggling. There is no roar, only the silent pull of the prey's body into the brush, a quiet testament to raw muscle strength and astonishing control. Just as a mother jaguar often hides her cubs in tree hollows or rocky dens, a mother cayman usually keeps her young tucked behind patches of floating vegetation along the Pantanal's drifting waters. But a jaguar had found them. Without even needing to dive into the water, the jaguar skillfully showcased its tree-climbing prowess, leaning down to snatch up the young cayman in one swift motion. But success doesn't always come so easily with these reptiles. This time, the jaguar was stalking once again, but it didn't approach from the cayman's blind spot. As a result, its sideways pounce ended in failure. They may not have the fierce appearance of a cayman, but otters might just be the toughest target of all. It's not because they move through the water like fish, but because of the fierce determination of the group. The giant otter is the largest otter species in the world, reaching lengths of up to 1.8 meters. They live in tightly bonded, well-organized family groups and are known for their bold nature, ready to stand up even to top predators like the jaguar. Highly territorial, giant otters will fiercely defend their waterways and breeding grounds from intruders. When threatened, the entire group joins forces to sound the alarm, puff out their throats, bare their teeth, and charge forward together. A young jaguar often hesitates in the face of the noise and fierceness of a group of giant otters. If it dares to reach down, these powerful otters can launch a relentless chase that drives the jaguar to retreat. There have been many times when, even after catching its prey, the jaguar was forced to give up under the intense resistance of the giant otters. But that doesn't mean otters are entirely out of reach. These water-loving creatures prefer habitats so aquatic that their dens often have underwater entrances, allowing them to come and go unnoticed. But that also creates an opportunity for the jaguar. It can dive down and slip into these narrow burrows to hunt for newborn otters. The wetlands of South America offer the jaguar more than just four-legged prey. They also present the chance to take on some of the most massive legless creatures, including the anaconda. Anacondas are not venomous, but they possess an incredibly powerful constriction force, up to 9 times the average human blood pressure. Each coil can exert up to 620.5 newtons per square meter, enough to quickly disrupt blood circulation and cause a loss of consciousness in just a few seconds. The jaguar's challenge is to avoid being caught in that crushing spiral. Jaguars often target smaller anacondas, usually taking advantage of moments when they are basking in the sun or hiding in shallow water. It tries to bite the head as usual, but the anaconda doesn't allow that to happen. So, the jaguar switches tactics, delivering multiple bites to gradually wear the snake down, while using its agile front paws to keep the prey from slipping into the water. Sensing the moment when the anaconda begins to weaken, the jaguar seizes its chance and carries the snake away. But when it comes to larger anacondas and a jaguar that lacks hunting experience, the balance can shift. It becomes much harder for the jaguar to escape the crushing grip of one of the world's largest snakes, some of which can reach lengths of up to 5 meters. Long ago, the Spanish conquerors of the Americas were deeply afraid of the jaguar. But the indigenous peoples of South America reassured them that there was no need to fear the jaguar, as long as capybaras were plentiful. The capybara is the largest living rodent native to South America. This semi-aquatic mammal prefers dense forests near water, as well as flooded grasslands and riverbanks throughout tropical rainforests. They are excellent swimmers and can hold their breath underwater for up to 5 minutes. But that doesn't deter the jaguar. With a solid, muscular build, broad shoulders, and powerfully developed hind legs, the jaguar is not only a stealthy predator beneath the forest canopy, but also an accomplished swimmer. Reports show that a jaguar can swim distances of 400 to 500 meters in a single stretch. Some adult individuals fitted with GPS tracking devices during the 2024 rainy season revealed that they frequently swim to move between hunting grounds, sometimes covering continuous distances of 15 to 20 kilometers in a single day. The jaguar's well-balanced shoulder and hip structure allows it to move through water with paddle-like grace. Its front legs push the water while the body stays steady, guided by the coordinated strength of its neck and solid head. Its short but dense fur doesn't absorb water quickly, acting as a temporary barrier that helps retain body heat in prolonged cold water conditions. As it moves, the jaguar barely makes a sound or even a noticeable ripple, a rare skill among the world's big cats. Hidden in the thick grass along the water's edge, a jaguar lies as still as a stone. Its ears perked, eyes locked onto its target. A group of capybaras calmly grazing at the water's edge. The jaguar spends a long time silently stalking the capybaras. After about 30 minutes, it begins to take its first careful steps. Thick, padded paws allow it to move in complete silence, lightly and smoothly. Its top speed reaches up to 64 kilometers per hour. But what makes it truly formidable is its ability to launch itself like a burst of energy, channeling all its muscle into a short leap with the force of a coiled steel spring. The jaguar aims straight for the skull of the adult capybara. And if it happens to miss a larger one, the jaguar is still fast enough to catch the smaller members of the group. One example that shows the jaguar's willingness to take on large prey might be this very moment. The jaguar moves stealthily, step by silent step, right behind a marsh deer, a familiar antelope of the Pantanal wetlands that can weigh up to 100 kilograms. The jaguar always approaches from downwind, knowing that even a faint, unfamiliar scent can alert the prey and send it fleeing. Unlike its usual style, the jaguar chooses to strike from behind, biting at the hindquarters to bring the animal down. It then immediately delivers a precise, powerful bite to the neck, paralyzing the prey. Across the vast stretches of the Gran Chaco and the Cerrado, where the ground cracks under the heat and the withered grasses wait patiently for rain, the jaguar's journey of survival unfolds like a solitary epic. No longer the untouchable ruler as it is in the lush rainforests of the Amazon, the jaguar here must learn to live within the harsh limits set by nature. The Gran Chaco and the Cerrado are two of the driest ecological regions in South America. They are nothing like the flooded plains of the Pantanal or the dense canopies of the Amazon rainforest. Here, the rainy season is unpredictable and brief, while droughts stretch on as if they have no end. According to a study published in Frontiers in Ecology and Evolution in 2024, the average prey weight in the Cerrado now ranges from just 25 to 40 kilograms, a figure significantly lower than what an adult jaguar typically needs to maintain its health. This scarcity has also affected the species' body size. Jaguars living in the Gran Chaco are often smaller and lighter than their relatives in the Amazon rainforest. A smaller body doesn't make them weaker, but it does make the journey of survival far more intense. To hunt effectively in a landscape with limited food, each jaguar must claim an unusually large territory. GPS data from the Movement Ecology of Neotropical Carnivores project recorded one male in northern Cerrado roaming across an area as vast as 800 square kilometers, nearly half the size of Los Angeles. Constantly on the move, solitary, and rarely crossing paths outside the breeding season, every step they take is a gamble in a habitat that is changing faster than ever before. But the harsh environment does nothing to diminish the uniqueness of this species. In fact, this region is home to sightings of strikingly unusual jaguars. Individuals cloaked in sleek jet-black fur that exudes an extraordinary sense of majesty. It's not a separate species, though the name black panther often leads to confusion. In reality, it's simply a common term for individuals of either the jaguar or leopard species that have dark coats due to melanism. That black coloration doesn't come from anything exotic. It stems from a small change at the genetic level, specifically a mutation in the MC1R gene, where a segment of 15 base pairs is lost, triggers the production of eumelanin, the pigment responsible for their signature dark fur. Unlike many recessive mutations, the allele responsible for melanism in jaguars is dominant. This means that a single copy of the mutated gene from either parent is enough for the offspring to inherit the jet-black coat. Even so, the occurrence of melanistic individuals in the wild remains relatively low, only about 10%. And this figure isn't evenly distributed. In rainforest ecosystems like the Amazon or the tropical forests of Central America, the percentage of black jaguars is significantly higher, reflecting how the dark pigment offers an advantage in environments with scattered light and dense vegetation. Even when their coats are nearly pitch black, the jaguar's signature markings don't completely vanish. Under strong light, you can still make out the rosettes, those large ring-shaped spots with central dots, faintly appearing like shadows against the dark background. The fur's structure remains unchanged, only the pigmentation differs. This creates a striking visual effect, a jaguar seemingly carved from darkness itself, its quiet skin still bearing the ancestral patterns that define its kind. The Cerrado is a dry yet life-rich biosphere sprawling across central Brazil, a natural arena where two of the top predators in the Americas face off, the jaguar and the cougar. Though both are large cats sharing the same territory and occasionally clashing, their survival strategies follow two very different paths. While the jaguar is often imagined as a symbol of power and shadow, with a muscular, heavily built body and a deliberate, steady gait, the cougar emerges more like a lean phantom, light, agile, and quietly resilient. Adult male jaguars in South America typically weigh between 56 and 96 kilograms. By contrast, cougars are lighter, usually ranging from 29 to 64 kilograms. Because of this size difference, direct confrontations are rare and usually driven by territorial disputes, or when a cougar encounters jaguar cubs, or the other way around. The latest data from 2024 shows that only about 0.4% of the Cerrado, roughly 8,345 square kilometers, is now considered highly suitable for the long-term survival of jaguars. This intensifies competition among carnivores. With overlapping territories, jaguars often hold the upper hand thanks to their superior strength. Cougars are forced to adapt by hunting during different hours or retreating to the less contested edges of the landscape. Both species tend to avoid direct conflict, but when food becomes scarce, clashes can become unavoidable. Continuing the journey of exploring the connections among South America's wild creatures, there's a quiet, unexpected relationship unfolding between two seemingly opposite beings. The jaguar, a symbol of strength, and the giant anteater, a creature that appears slow and feeds on termites and ants, yet carries within it a powerful instinct for survival. In the Cerrado, the vast biodiverse tropical savanna of Brazil, this relationship is not simply one between predator and prey. It is a chain of survival strategies shaped by instinct, constant vigilance, and at times, mutual caution from both sides. The jaguar has been gifted by nature with a bite force twice as strong as that of an African lion. Yet when it comes to hunting the giant anteater, its behavior becomes anything but straightforward. The giant anteater may not have teeth for defense, but its sharp claws, each reaching up to 10 centimeters in length, are formidable weapons. A single, well-aimed swipe can tear open an opponent's abdomen, causing severe blood loss or even proving fatal. In a study analyzing the diet of jaguars in the Pantanal region, which borders the Cerrado, researchers found that only about 3.5% of stomach samples contained traces of giant anteater, far lower than the 28% for capybara or 19% for cayman. Another fascinating piece in the wild mosaic of Brazil's Cerrado is the white-lipped peccary, a more frequent natural prey of the jaguar. Yet their relationship is far from a simple scene of predator and prey. Peccaries live in herds that can number up to 200 individuals. In the Cerrado forests, the distinctive calls of a moving peccary herd echo like a miniature army on the march, creating a formidable presence in the landscape. For the jaguar, peccaries are an appealing prey, both in size and in energy value. But taking down a single peccary is far from easy. Every time it launches an attack on a herd, the jaguar isn't just dealing with one target. It's confronting dozens of individuals reacting all at once. Peccaries often use their sharp tusks and sharp, high-pitched vocalizations to intimidate the predator. This peccary hunt plays out with a different strategy. The jaguar must wait until one individual strays from the herd before making its move. Even then, for a jaguar that hasn't fully matured, a lone peccary is no easy catch. The young cat has yet to master the hunting skills passed down from its mother. The outcome is hard to predict, especially when jaguars have a success rate of only 50 to 60% in their hunts. From a deeper perspective, the story between the jaguar and the peccary reflects a simple truth. Strength doesn't lie solely in the individual, it lives in the collective. Just as faith does not exist in isolation but is nurtured within a community, the herd of peccaries draws its power from unity. And it is this, an innate instinct to stay connected, that becomes their shield, even against the most formidable predators of South America's tropical wilds. Across the tropical rainforests, stretching from Belize to Panama, jaguars may not have the massive build of their Amazonian relatives, but their agility and adaptability are just as impressive. While a male jaguar in South America can weigh up to 120 kilograms, adult males in Central America typically weigh between 56 and 90 kilograms. This size difference follows Bergman's ecological rule. Animals in tropical regions tend to be smaller to better adapt to the hot, humid climate and the more scattered availability of food. In Belize, the Coxcomb Basin Wildlife Sanctuary, spanning over 400 square kilometers, is the region's most thriving stronghold for jaguars. Camera traps reveal a high level of activity, with frequent sightings along river-edge trails. Thanks to natural biological corridors, these jaguars can move between Guatemala and Belize, helping prevent their populations from becoming isolated. Honduras and Nicaragua are home to some of the least disturbed wilderness areas, such as the La Mosquitia rainforest and the Bosawas Biosphere Reserve. Jaguars in these regions are primarily nocturnal and tend to travel alone. It is estimated that only around 250 to 500 individuals remain scattered throughout the deep forest, most of them living near rivers or in sparsely populated areas. In Costa Rica, jaguars survive across a range of ecosystems, from dense rainforests to coastal beaches. On the Osa Peninsula and in Corcovado National Park, they have adapted to a unique hunting environment, having been documented preying on olive ridley sea turtles on the sand during nesting season. This is one of the few known jaguar populations with coastal hunting behavior. Amid the gentle sound of ocean waves, a jaguar moves with quiet, fluid steps. Like all big cats, the jaguar's eyes are equipped with a tapetum lucidum, a layer of light-reflective cells behind the retina that allows for clear vision in extremely low light. But in this species, that structure is especially well developed. The jaguar's night vision is estimated to be 6 to 8 times better than that of humans, allowing it to locate prey with ease in the dense coastal rainforests of Costa Rica. Along the shores of Tortuguero and Playa Nancite, where the hot sands mark the final stop in the reproductive journey of thousands of olive ridley sea turtles and green sea turtles, the jaguar appears as a natural part of that cycle. Not as a guardian, nor as a force of destruction. It watches the slow, determined movements of mother turtles as they struggle to dig their nests. A single turtle was dragged more than 50 meters into the mangrove forest by a jaguar. The jaguar is one of the few animals capable of biting through a turtle's shell, a tough calcium structure that can be several centimeters thick. The process of hunting and consuming a turtle calls for the help of a truly specialized set of teeth. Jaguars have around 30 teeth, with each group designed for a specific role in the act of hunting and feeding. The canines, measuring about 4 to 6 centimeters in length, are strong enough to pierce through the skull or cervical vertebrae, delivering a precise bite that directly shuts down the prey's central nervous system. The premolars and molars work like sharp shears, tearing through muscle and severing tendons and joints. There have even been cases where jaguars failed to capture a land-dwelling turtle, one that managed to retreat just in time into its solid, protective shell. In the spiritual worldview of the Maya and Aztec civilizations, this great cat was a sacred symbol, an embodiment of strength, darkness, and deep wisdom. The Maya called the jaguar Balam or Bolom. They believed it was closely tied to the night, the underworld, and a supernatural ability to move between the realms of life and death. In religious ceremonies, shamans would wear jaguar pelts to commune with the gods, call for rain, or guide souls into the realm of Xibalba. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Anthropological Archaeology documented royal tombs in Copan and Tikal that were buried with jaguar teeth, claws, or pelts, remnants of a belief that this animal served as a guide between worlds. Beyond its spiritual role, the jaguar also stood as a symbol of social power. Elite warriors were seen as incarnations of this creature, wearing armor patterned after its spotted coat, standing shoulder to shoulder with gods in epic tales. At Bonampak, the image of the jaguar appears alongside rulers, not merely as decoration, but as a clear emblem of authority and dominance. To the Aztecs, the jaguar was known as Ecological, the king of all beasts. The Aztec military was divided into two elite warrior classes, Cuautli, the eagle warriors, and Ecological, the jaguar warriors. Only those who had captured at least 4 enemies alive were honored with the title of Ecological. In battle, they wore garments adorned with jaguar skin patterns, as if carrying the spirit of the swiftest and most fearless predator into combat. 2 powerful Aztec deities, Tezcatlipoca and Tepeyollotl, both carried the image of the jaguar. Tezcatlipoca was the god of darkness and unseen power, while Tepeyollotl embodied the echoing roar deep within the forest. Both were tied to the mysterious and the mystical, reflecting the defining traits of the jaguar: strength, stealth, and razor-sharp awareness. In 2024, LiDAR technology helped archaeologists uncover a series of jaguar carvings in Chiapas, Mexico. Some evidence suggests that these animals were once kept in captivity for ceremonial purposes, not to be domesticated, but to serve as intermediaries between humans and the gods. Yet, the closer the jaguar became to human culture, the harder it became for it to live undisturbed in the depths of the forest. The jaguar, though a top predator, is renowned for its silence and solitary way of life. It keeps its distance from humans, becoming truly dangerous only when injured or cornered with no way out. But in an age where forests are fragmented by roads, farms, and mining operations, unwanted encounters between people and jaguars are becoming increasingly common. In Tortuguero, Costa Rica, between 2013 and mid-2024, locals reported 156 cases of jaguars attacking livestock. This isn't a sign of increased aggression. It's a sign that their old territory is disappearing. At the start of the 20th century, jaguars roamed an enormous range of about 19 million square kilometers, from the southern United States all the way to southern Argentina. By the early 21st century, that range had shrunk to just 8.75 million square kilometers, more than a 50% decline. The most heavily affected regions include the southern United States, northern Mexico, northern Brazil, and southern Argentina. This shrinking range doesn't just reduce population numbers, it also disrupts their ecological network. Jaguars are forced to move closer to human settlements, leading to conflict, retaliation, and a steady decline in their chances of survival. But perhaps the deepest wound comes from the deliberate hunting of jaguars by humans. In the 1960s, over 15,000 jaguars disappeared annually from Brazil's Amazon as a result of the booming skin trade. Between 2012 and 2018, at least 857 individuals were funneled into the illegal wildlife trade, 482 of them from Bolivia. From 2014 to early 2019, authorities seized 760 jaguar canines, most of which were bound for China. Investigations revealed that these trafficking networks were operated by Chinese nationals in Bolivia, targeting the markets for traditional medicine and high-end jewelry. Humans have not only hunted jaguars for their body parts, they've also destroyed the very homes that sustain them. According to a 2024 report by the World Wildlife Fund, nearly 40% of the jaguar's natural habitat in Central and South America has vanished over the past 100 years. The main drivers are agricultural expansion, logging, and infrastructure development, especially in rainforest regions like the Amazon, the Maya forests of Guatemala, and the Pantanal. Fragmented habitats make it difficult for jaguars to move, reproduce, and hunt. They require vast, continuous territory, and survival becomes nearly impossible in forests that have been carved into isolated patches. Climate change is also devastating the jaguar's habitat. Prolonged droughts, unusual flooding, and wildfires are severely impacting regions like the Pantanal, the largest wetland in the world. In 2020 and 2021, wildfires scorched over 30% of the Pantanal, leaving hundreds of jaguars without shelter. According to the 2024 Climate Bulletin from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, these conditions are continuing to worsen. Deforestation and pollution have also led to a sharp decline in the jaguar's natural prey, such as capybaras, peccaries, armadillos, and small caymans. As prey becomes scarce, jaguars are forced to alter their hunting behavior, making them more vulnerable and increasing the likelihood of conflict with humans. But amid those who take greedily from the land, there are still people who love the natural world and fight to protect the jaguar. Since 1986, the Coxcomb Basin Wildlife Sanctuary in Belize has stood as the world's first reserve dedicated specifically to jaguars. It marked the beginning of a growing wave of conservation initiatives across the Americas. In 1999, experts from 18 countries came together to identify priority areas for jaguar conservation, using field data on population density, prey stability, and habitat quality. The result was the designation of 51 jaguar conservation units, spread across 36 geographic regions, ranging in size from 566 to 67,598 square kilometers, each unit large enough to support at least 50 healthy, reproducing individuals. To protect the species from commercial hunting, the jaguar is listed under Appendix 1 of the CITES Convention, the highest level of protection, strictly prohibiting all forms of international trade. National laws have also grown tighter. Hunting jaguars is completely banned in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, French Guiana, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Paraguay, Suriname, the United States, and Venezuela. In Ecuador, the jaguar is classified as endangered, and hunting is fully prohibited. In Guatemala and Peru, hunting is strictly regulated. In Guyana, the jaguar is protected as a species in urgent need of rescue and conservation. One of the most prominent ongoing efforts is the Jaguar Corridor Initiative, a cross-border project led by the organization Panther, in collaboration with governments and indigenous communities. The project aims to connect fragmented ecological regions from Mexico all the way to Argentina, creating a green corridor that allows isolated jaguar populations to move, breed, and maintain genetic diversity. This is a vital strategy, especially as forest fragmentation continues to isolate individual groups and increase their vulnerability. Technology is also playing an increasingly important role in conservation efforts. Camera trap systems and GPS telemetry devices are being deployed to monitor the behavior, movement ranges, and health of jaguars in the wild. These tools provide invaluable data that help scientists better understand how this species is adapting to a changing environment and pinpoint which areas should be prioritized for protection or restoration. In northern Mexico, near the United States border, experts have established the Northern Jaguar Reserve, spanning over 23,000 hectares, as a final stronghold for the last remaining individuals in the region. At the same time, many conservation groups and ecologists in Arizona and New Mexico are actively campaigning to restore the jaguar population that once roamed there. Records of solitary individuals crossing back into U.S. territory from Mexico show that natural recovery is possible, if given enough space and supported by both government action and local community acceptance. The jaguar is more than just an animal. It is a living thread woven into the history and spirit of the lands it once roamed. In a world where nature is steadily losing ground, the ecological corridors stretching from the Amazon rainforest to the Sonoran Desert are the last lifelines. To save the jaguar today is not only to preserve a species, it is a powerful act of healing, a chance to rebuild a broken relationship between humanity and the natural world. Have you ever been on a safari to witness the largest wild cat in the Americas hunt in the wild? Don't hesitate to share your knowledge and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on our next incredible adventures. You can also continue exploring the survival journeys of wildlife in other regions by watching Secrets of Madagascar, Survival Journey in Nature's Isolated Paradise, or Cheetahs, Lords of Speed and Shadows.